Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Stephen Pope with us today. He's the founder of myamazonguy.com, $20 million agency. He's all about PPC SEO, catalog troubleshooting, trademarks, refunds, Amazon FBA. He's a thought leader in that field. We're going to talk about his agency, how to run profitable Amazon ads, and of course, setting up your Amazon store, what niches are hot, what niches are not. This podcast is brought to you by podbar.com. If you want to start a podcast and monetize it, go to podbar.com. If you want to optimize your brain as a busy CEO, you can check out Qual Your Mind. Go to neurohacker.com/CEO wisdom. Steve, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Charles. Appreciate it. Well, I'll tell you what I just did this past weekend. I went viral on Reddit, and I was on the top of the sub called LinkedIn Lunatics. So I guess you could say I'm a LinkedIn lunatic. And then I convinced my wife to update her bio. So now she's calling herself the wife of CEO LinkedIn lunatic Stephen Pope. And now she's telling her story about what it's like to live with me. And apparently it's not that easy to live with me. And so she's starting to talk about just the fact that I'm doing emails at midnight in bed, and that I talk about LinkedIn over dinner and all that fun stuff. So that's what I've been up to lately, is building out content and leveraging my wife's future influencer account.
There you go. Yeah, I'm guilty of writing polls in bed nowadays. So I'm reading stuff on Wikipedia, and now a poll idea comes to mind. I think that polls are one of the most under leveraged organic resource on LinkedIn. If you don't want to have your little clique of people that share and like your stuff, which is how most people do it nowadays, polls, they literally take me 10 seconds and they get me an average 2K views, which is not bad for 10-second times of my investment. What do you think?
They're easy to do. You get your name out there, right? So it's all about the views, and that's kind of what I do on Amazon as well. But one of the fun things I like to do is just shit all over Amazon sometimes on LinkedIn and YouTube, and talk about how hard it is to sell on the platform, right? It's not passive income. You go on YouTube and you see these gurus talking about, oh, run FBA and, you'll make $1 million. And you might have $1 million in sales, but what people don't tell you is that net profit is usually around 12 to 15%. And so your six-figure job is actually easier than working and selling on Amazon. And there's cash flow issues, and there's all these new skills you have to pick up in PPC and SEO and design and catalog. And I'm a little biased because I run an agency with 500 employees and 400 brands. And obviously that's what we do to help out. And it's kind of fun though to put Jeff Bezos to task. I know he divested his CEO role, but he's still, a multi-billionaire. And so if you don't know, Amazon loves dogs. And their Seattle office has like a 6-month waiting period for the employees to shoot pictures of their dogs. And what they do with these pictures of the dogs is they plaster them all over Amazon. So if you ever go to a broken page on Amazon, you'll see a lost dog of Amazon. So I made a meme today that I posted where I said, hey, Jeff Bezos, I found your lost dog. And if you want it back, reinstate my listing. And it's a huge inside joke because the Amazon selling community has their products taken down by Amazon every single day. It's a nightmare. There's just not a lot of seller support. Amazon is the #1 buyer-centric company in the world, but they are terrible to sellers. And so I've chosen to be the most seller-centric company in the world, and I help the sellers overcome some of those problems.
Right. I used to get some of these problems when I was a Facebook ads agency owner. The ads would be taken down pretty much all the time for random reasons. Yeah, I guess you put yourself at the mercy of these tech billionaires when you decide to host your stuff there. Amazon and Facebook are still one of the greatest technologies out there. However much people will shit on them, like we all spend time on Facebook or Facebook Marketplace, one of their products, Facebook Messenger. Same for Amazon. Yeah, I don't know what I would do without Amazon. They come to my door every day. But yeah, it seems to be quite challenging as well to run your ads and have your listings in there. Is that typically the main problem your customers face, or is it literally listing their products, competing against other products? What are the top problems and challenges you can face as an Amazon listed business?
Well, there's just a lot of work that takes to list a product and sell it on Amazon. And so as a buyer, God bless Amazon. It might be a monopoly, but God bless Amazon for sending all those brown boxes to my front door, because that is a lot of stores I no longer have to drive to. They are saving the environment one brown box at a time, so to speak. So I love it as a buyer. It's a great experience. There's 2-day Prime shipping. There's 1 day, then now there's Prime Now, right? Like it wasn't fast enough, so they're shipping it in 2 to 4 hours now. So the consumer typically doesn't win when a monopoly occurs, and Amazon is very much the exception. The consumer is very much won because of Amazon. And there's some things we could criticize on the consumer side, but by and large, it's a huge, giant win. So we established that Amazon's a win for consumers. It's half the economy. And if you don't sell your product on Amazon and you sell products, you're irrelevant, because it's half the economy. It's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. So what we do is we navigate the challenges of the Amazon jungle marketplace, and we list the products, we merchandise them, we grow the traffic, and typically most businesses are coming to us to run ads. They typically buy PPC, but they stay for the peace of mind and the troubleshooting and all the design work we do. And the fastest way to grow sales on Amazon is to improve the main image, and a lot of people under index that. They under invest in the main image. So I usually tell people, like, if you haven't spent 10 hours perfecting your main image, start there before you go blow $1,000 or $10,000 on pay-per-click advertising. And CTR, click-through rate, easiest thing in the world to improve, right? If you just update your main image by slapping a keyword on it, by showing the product in use, by showing, if it's a supplement, you show the pill. If it's a soap, you show the scent. You show the ingredients and demonstrate the product. If you sell a pet product and don't put a pet on your main image, you're crazy, right? Because we all know as marketers, the number one, number two things that sell products are babies and puppies. No question about it. So those are the sort of things that we strategically built a framework around. And then we go and run those reps over and over again to grow traffic and improve conversion rates on Amazon.
And on your side, how did you get started? What's your story?
Yeah, I'm a TV reporter turned educational marketer. And so I was up in Wisconsin in the biggest blizzard the state had seen in a decade. It was 10 o'clock at night. Everybody was home in their pajamas. I was out doing the weather. It was crazy. I was so miserable. It was like the coming of age moment for me. And so I missed my cue to go on the air. The cameraman the blizzard was so bad, I couldn't see the cameraman. And after I missed my cue to go on the air, I felt like an idiot. My hair froze over. I had hair at the time. And I just really couldn't structurally wrap my head around what I was doing in that very moment. I wanted to be home with everybody else. So I looked for a way to break into a digital job, a remote job, and I landed in e-commerce. And I've been doing that ever since for about 16 years now. And the agency is about 6 years old. I got laid off from my last job. They gave me a 3-month severance, and I basically said, you know what? I think I've peaked. Nobody's going to pay a 30-year-old $200,000. That's what I was making at the time. Who's going to hire me? And then about 48 hours later, I said, I will. I'll hire myself. I'll pay myself 200K. So I got on LinkedIn and I wrote a message and I said, hey guys, I'm opening up full time. I'm going to be doing this Amazon thing. And within 48 hours after that, I had my first contract signed, and it was for $3,000. And that client is still with me 6.5 years later. And so the rest is history, as they say, but I grinded it, I built it, I system built, and I realized how hard it was to run an agency, how hard it was to sell on Amazon. And I built system after system, a culture of education surrounding these systems to try and solve these problems. And I've really had a lot of challenges. It's not easy, but I've also deserved all of the rewards that come from solving those problems. And I bought my dream house. I've got my dream R8 car. I got a happy family with 5 kids. Everybody's healthy and beautiful. And so I've hit the I win button in life. And right now I'm kind of starting my pivot, if you will, into legacy. And I want to create as many jobs as I can. I want to give back to the world and change it for thousands of years. And so that's really what I'm kind of structurally like chasing at the moment. But in the meantime, I've built a solid company that's something special.
It is special, and special companies are built by special people. If you analyze yourself and the potential factors to your success, what would you say is your special power?
Iteration. So you'll never ever hear anybody else say this ever again on a podcast that their superpower was iteration, but that is exactly what mine is. I'm a hummingbird. I do not measure and then cut. I simply cut, then I measure in micro doses over and over again. So while somebody has measured twice and they haven't even cut yet, I've already made 10 adjustments. And so what's really, nice about doing that in an agency environment is the ability to adjust in a digital chaotic environment and do so quickly becomes super valuable. So the technologies that I use are low code and no code, and we built a system around iterating as quickly as possible.
So I just got my treadmill started. What about chess? Is building a business like chess?
Well, I used to be a national chess player growing up. I played in the U.S. Open. I taught chess lessons in elementary schools in Utah. I was in over 100 different elementary schools in Utah. I've had hundreds of students, and and I would say chess is very much like business. There's a structural rule of the game, and the only way you lose in chess is to stop playing. Obviously you can sacrifice your queen and make some blunders, and maybe you don't castle and you get checkmated, but at the end of the day you can just start another chess match. That could be another business, that could be another initiative, however you want to define the metaphor. But in life, and in business, the only way you lose is to stop playing. So I do think there's other analogies we could draw here about how in chess you need to think ahead and you need to have a plan, and how you structure your openings, and whether you move e4 or d4 when you first make your first move. And there's a lot of analogies we could draw over to starting your business and getting an LLC open, and how you hire your first employee, and all of that, and positioning and marketing and traffic and all the converting things that follow. But I love chess and I love business, and it's a lot of fun because at, you can reset the chess pieces, you can reset the business pieces whenever you'd like.
Right. And as a next journalist, your background, how do you investigate the causes of success of businesses? For example, Amazon's business. Have you dissected Mr. Jeff Bezos, some of his mindset, mental models, and the way he thinks and handles business?
I'll be honest, I kind of ignore what Amazon is doing and I simply just go straight to the customer, which in my case is an Amazon seller. I just ask them, what do you want? I give it to them. And then I ask, did you get what you wanted? And Jeff Bezos is on record saying that it's always day one and they're the most customer centric company in the world. And there are some positioning earnings calls, and he says some things. You can tell where they're going. And now, obviously, it's a different CEO at Amazon, but Jeff Bezos is still the primary investor. And so there's a lot of things you can get signals for. But when I look at how to position myself, it doesn't matter what Amazon does. It matters what the seller experiences. And so I structure everything that I do based on how I can serve that seller to help them grow their brand and their business on Amazon. And we always just kind of iterate one day at a time, and that's where the hummingbird powers come in.
You had my Walmart guy also, and recently my agency guy. Can you tell me a bit more about the latter?
So I have learned to create a big flywheel, to never lose a customer. And so I knew that if somebody was going to sell on Amazon, they'd probably want to sell on Walmart. So I created my Walmart guy. I started selling my SOPs, standard operating procedures, because every business ever needs instruction. There's 1,000 things you can do, but there's only 2 or 3 you should do at any given moment. So having those 1,000 SOPs available so you can just pull one out whenever you need it was a good business idea. We did it for myself at my Amazon guy. Well, I decided I was also going to sell those to other people, to other brands. When I looked at the sales data, more than half of the people that bought my SOPs were competing agencies. Okay, so now I have new customer agencies. So what do? I spin up my agency guy. And now I sell services and educational SOPs and business plans to agencies. So I'm an educator and I take advantage of the fact that people need to learn and people love to learn. So it allows me to recruit more people who like to learn. It allows me to sell to people who like to learn. And I put that professor hat on whenever possible. So big flywheel, lots of services. I even sell trademarks. I sell a lot of weird stuff on my platform.
And tell me about the university you have going on. So sometimes it's not enough to do it for people. You also have to teach them so that they can scale their assets by themselves. Tell me about the mag school.
So I had a problem a couple years ago at my business. I was growing faster. My ability to sell was better than my operations ability to hire. And every agency ever always has one of two problems. Either they don't have enough people or they have too many people. You can reword this question another way. They either have too many clients or not enough clients. But at the end of the day, it's always a people problem at an agency. So I sat down and I realized, you know what? I have to hire a bunch of people as quickly as possible. I have culture index data or personality profiles on my competing agencies. I don't really like who they're hiring. A lot of agencies are hiring emotional extroverts. I'm a logical introvert. I'm Spock. I don't want to hang out with Captain Kirk on the weekend. So I decided I was going to go hire a bunch of Spocks. And then it dawned on me these people definitely don't interview as well. They're a little bit more off putting. They don't make good first impressions. And I said, cool, I'm going to build interviews where they succeed so I can go find them. I'm going to give them culture index surveys before the interview to make sure they're an introvert so I can hire them. I obviously hire experts too in certain roles, and I don't want to piss off the experts listening to this. But the point is I, as a business, I came up with a business plan and I went and executed it. And I found an underserved community and I built a community around that. Along the way, I realized I needed to hire 100 interns in 30 days. One of the crazy CEO ideas that a LinkedIn lunatic would come up with, right? And so I called up my HR team, my recruitment team, and I said, we're going to hire 100 interns in 30 days. 24 hours go by, Tuesday rolls around, and I called them up. I said, what are you guys doing? I didn't see any offers go out yet. And they're like, what do you mean? We just thought that was a crazy idea. And I'm like, no, it's a serious idea. We're going to go do it. Like, I need to see offers go out. Let's do it. Wednesday rolls around. No offers had gone out yet. I call them back up, impromptu meeting. I'm like, guys, heads are going to roll if offers don't go out by end of day. And so 22 internship offers went out that day by 5 o'clock. And we hired over 100 interns, and it only took us 3 weeks instead of the full 4 weeks. That was the most revolutionary part of my business because it allowed us to access a much larger talent pool, and we could shape and train. And so I had over 67,000 people apply to MAG in a 2-year span, and I could only hire a couple hundred of them. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to teach them how to go find their own virtual assistant jobs, their own Amazon selling jobs. And I created MAG School, or My Amazon Guy School. And so you can get certified in taking one of these courses in PPC and SEO, design and catalog work and parentage and reinstatements and a bunch of other technical skills that are required to sell on Amazon. And so now we've had thousands of students take these MAG School courses. They then put their certificates on LinkedIn. They then can find other people that will hire them because they're qualified by us. And it was a good way to give back to the community. It also protected me from poachers because they didn't have to hire just directly from me. They could hire people I've certified. And since I give back to the community, they didn't really want to attack me anyway. Hopefully, some do, but hopefully most don't. So that was why I built the model the way I did and how we made MAG School.
Love it. You have 56K or 52K followers on LinkedIn. You have 45K followers on your YouTube. Any content tips for us?
Always be creating. If you do a coaching call with one of your employees, that's at least a 3-minute video clip coming out of that when I do it, right? If you have an idea or you have a customer that asks you a question, shoot a video, write down a thought, create a graphic, make a post. I post 3 times a day on LinkedIn on average. Most people struggle to make a weekly post on LinkedIn. We post a video on YouTube every single day. We are a news organization. We are a production organization. We produce nonstop. So if you are into wanting to get into content, you need to be a creator by making a post every single day. We could talk tactics and about how to space your LinkedIn and how to make the hook better, and whether you should do polls or write a newsletter, and all those things would be valuable things to talk about. But I really think the most powerful thing is just to go create. Just make daily content.
Right. Nowadays that you've achieved your dream life, what is the next for you? You said giving back. What is your definition to a happy and fulfilled life?
To change the world in such a way that what I've created will last for more than 1,000 years, and to create a legacy, a lasting impact. So if we look about, we can find a lot of inventors and engineers or philosophers that the world remembers. And Elon Musk, 100% is going to be one of those people. He's probably going to get us off the rock, electric cars, all kinds of things that he's done with internet and so forth. I'm not an engineer. It's going to be really hard for me to get into the history books in that sort of fashion or way. But I'm going to educate one person at a time. I'm going to get into the schools and help people learn how to build out careers. I'm going to go take out pedophiles and protect the children. I'm going to do some crazy LinkedIn lunatic stuff along the way so I can make a lasting impact, because I want to build a better world that my kids will be proud of. I want to build a better world that their kids, my grandkids, are going to be proud of. And that's really what humanity is all about, right? Like, if we look back in time, they didn't even have cars, ice cubes, and air conditioning, and we live like kings today. But our future kids are going to live like emperors, and it's just going to be awesome that we're going to be able to do that. So I want to be a participant in the history books building that out.
Where can we find out more about you, Steven?
MyAmazonGuy.com. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Stephen Pope, and YouTube.com/MyAmazonGuy. If anybody enjoyed listening to this, you want to drop me a line, or maybe you can help me with one of my special give back projects, you can email me at podcast@myamazonguy.com.